Hey guys, I wanted to go over a few problems on your limits involving infinity homework. I just wanted to hit the last three, so if you were a little confused there, or even if you weren't, I may show you just a different method or just some things. There's some important stuff in here that that you may want to look at. So I'm just going to do the last three. So I'm going to start with number 8. And we had limit the square root x squared minus 3x minus x on the outside as x approaches positive infinity. Okay, so what you'll see is that, direct substitution here is going to yield infinity minus infinity, which is another indeterminate form. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to take that square root minus x and we're going to multiply that by the conjugate. So we're going to take this and we're going to multiply by square root. That should be squared. Yeah, my bad. That's squared. The square root plus x. Okay, but if we do that on top, we also have to do that on the bottom. Okay, so this numerator, we're going to FOIL that. We're going to multiply those together, and you'll see that the inside and the outside will cancel out. So keep moving forward. We get a square root times the square root, so that'll cancel out. And then you get a positive x square root, a negative x square root, so those will cancel out. And then a negative x times a positive x is a negative x squared. And then all of that is over x squared minus the square root of x squared minus 3x with a plus x on the bottom. Okay, so we've got some x squares that'll cross out there. Okay, and this one right here inside that square root, next due to the magnitude of this as x approaches infinity. Just need to write that there. Okay, due to the magnitude of this term here, this one's negligible, so we can neglect the negative 3x here. Okay, so we get a limit negative 3x over the square root of x squared with a plus x. Now here's something we need to remember. Remember that square root is always going to give you a positive answer. Okay, we didn't force that square root into the problem when we were solving or anything. So this guy right here, the reason I wanted to bring this up, we're going to see it again on the next problem, I think. So remember that the square root is absolute value x. Okay, that's always going to yield a positive square root. Okay, so that will give us negative 3x on top, absolute value of x plus x, and we just keep going here. We end up with a negative 3/2. Okay, look at the next one. So the limit of this function, 7x squared minus 2, square root of 7x squared minus 2 over x plus 7. Okay. Here, we can neglect both of those. Again, do the magnitude of the other terms there. So, negative 2 and 7. As x approaches negative infinity. Now here's one thing I didn't say before, but I'm noticing just reading different people and also talking to Miss Onan, when you start doing this, when you start neglecting these terms, it's probably best if you say that it's approximately this limit. Okay. So 7x squared over x. Now, using your property, you're looking at a product under that square root, so we can say that this is square root of 7 times square root of x squared. Okay. Remember that square root of x squared is absolute value of x again. And I'm going to go over here. And we'll say that the limit x approaches negative infinity, square root of 7, absolute value x over x. So now when you plug in that negative infinity into the absolute value, so this one's going to turn positive, right? And then this one stays negative. So you get a positive on top, negative on bottom, so your answer is a negative square root of 7. Okay, don't forget this function here, this parent function, the absolute value of x over x, that was a step graph. So, see if I can draw it over here real quick. So you have a stretch of a square root of 7. So it looks something like this, something like this. This value here is square root of 7. This one here is negative square root of 7. So there's your stretch by 2 point whatever. So as we approach negative infinity, the limit is negative square root of 7. And then the last one here, let's see if I've got enough room down here. I think so. Can make it fit. Make sure you're on my screen there. Yep, you're good. Let's see, we have limit. Square root 2x to the 4th minus x over x squared minus 4. And this limit as x approaches negative infinity. Okay. Again, due to the magnitude of these two terms, we can neglect here. So that's going to be approximately we'll say square root of 2x to the 4th over x squared split that up, Square root of x to the fourth is x squared. And we end up with square root of 2. Now this one you could have also used the other method that we talked about. So let me go ahead and go over that. Let me get some fresh paper here. Let me rewrite that problem. It gets a little tricky when dealing with radicals, but not a big deal. If you take the leading term on the bottom, which is x squared, that means we can divide everything by x squared. Now, like I said, the tricky part is up here, you're dealing with a square root. So either we can take that square root and divide by x squared like that, but it's going to be easier if you go ahead and put the whole thing in the square root. So if you're inside the square root, you would divide by x to the fourth. So the square root of x to the fourth is the same as x squared. So when you're working inside the square roots, we're going to divide both of these by x to the fourth while we're dividing both of these by x squared. Same thing. Okay. So I've got 2x to the fourth over x to the fourth minus x over x to the fourth. And all of that is divide both of these by x squared. So up top, we're going to get square root of 2. Oh, this limit. We're still working with the limit, sorry. So square root of 2 minus, that'd be 0, over 1 minus 0. Oh no, we're not working with the limit there because we got rid of the variable. Okay, so same thing. I just wanted to show you that method that we talked about in class as well. So anyways, hope that helps. Let me slide that over. Sorry, there we go. Oh, you missed my whole demonstration on the orange. So right there, 2x to the fourth divided by x squared. If you're working inside, that's what we were talking about. Sorry about that. Anyways, see you in a little bit. Have a good day.